Here we go! Okay, let's go! And welcome everybody to the 1UpXP show. I have the privilege and honor of being joined by a professional Valorant player. Kaylen Ruddell is joining me today from Immortals. She's the in-game leader for the Immortals all-women Pro-Valorant team. Welcome, Kay. Thank you for being here. I appreciate the time you're giving me today to talk about this amazing opportunity you have. First of all, I have to ask, how did this all start? Where did gaming start for you? And how did you get to the all-female Pro-Valorant team for Immortals? I mean, this is a huge step in many ways, but how did it all start for you?
Yeah, so I first started playing video games when I was like 8 years old. I grew up in a household of brothers and my dad playing video games. So I've been playing since I was like really young, but never really had the mindset that I was ever going to go pro. I mean, I have a college degree, so it was never really in my mind track that I was ever going to be playing pro anything. But I started playing Valorant like competitively about a year ago. And it wasn't really that competitively. I wouldn't say I was really that good at the video game at the time, but I would say around in August of last year is when I was like, okay, maybe I could do this. I mean, maybe I'll try for it. And then the Immortals Tryouts happened around December of last year. And there was, I don't know, 50 plus people in it, and I ended up making it. So it's really cool, but definitely wasn't something that I thought was ever going to happen.
Oh, I mean, huge congratulations in order, because I'm sure there was probably not a shortage of people in line waiting and trying to get into Immortals for this role. But Immortals, the Great Lakes-based pro esports organization, has created the Pro-Valorant team consisting of women across the Great Lakes region, and UK are from Michigan, which is even dearer to my heart. Born and raised, I'm assuming, and if I'm not mistaken, you went to Eastern?
Yes, I did go to Eastern. Yep.
You got 4 years at Eastern, and then you graduated, and now here you are, a pro esports Valorant player for Immortals, which is, trust me, I know how it feels, because when I got that label for Fortnite, I was like, wait a second, am I doing, is this true? Like, and they pay you to play a video game. It is pretty amazing when you stop and think about it. And we'll hit on that a little bit later in the questions. So let's talk about what it's been like so far and what the process has been like to be in this position. You said there was like a tryout, but was it nerve-wracking? Like, how did the process go of you getting into Immortals and, being the in-game leader for your role?
It was interesting. The tryout process was very hard for me because I was working a 40-hour job, coming home, doing the tryouts for, I don't know, 4 hours, going to sleep, and then repeat. That was my life for about a month. But it was honestly all worth it. After the tryouts ended, none of the girls that ended up going through were ever IGLs at this point. So we all kind of like tested the waters and see we were trying to test who would be the best fit. It did land up on me, and I'm still getting used to it and trying my best to keep improving. But honestly, it's going good so far, and I actually like having that title. I think it makes me feel a little bit more proud of myself.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's definitely one thing. I can speak from this role as well, as I was kind of the captain of our team, and there's much more to it, But it's, for some people, it's not pressure. It's actually a role that they take on very well, which it sounds like you do very well. Is hold it on your shoulders, and it can be like, yeah, I can do this. Let's go. This is what we need to do. This is where you need to be. Hey, let's try this. Let's try that. But it's one of those roles that some people just can't grasp or really flourish to. But it sounds like you're well on your way to holding that IGL very well. So congratulations on that as well, because not only did you make the team, but you're also the in-game leader. Hey, and you're from Michigan, so I'm giving you 3 things there on top of it all. So Midwest, that to me is stellar, and don't sell yourself short by any means. What does it mean for you to be a part of something like this, an all-female pro Valorant team with Immortals? What does it mean to you?
So growing up, like I didn't even know competitive esports was a thing. I didn't realize that people got paid to play video games competitively until about like a couple of years ago, and I was just like blown away by it. But even then, I always asked the question, like, I never see women in there. Like the main competitive game that I watched was probably League of Legends, and I don't
Mhm.
think I've ever seen a single female play it competitively, like on the big stage or anything. So getting to this point has meant a lot to me, and there's still a really long ways to go before we're on that same level where we can be like respected at the same points as the rest of the scene. It's still separated, and I think Valorant has paved the way for like females to be in esports, but it's like super super exciting for me because I get to be like this representation, and I never thought that that was going to happen, so it's really cool.
No, I really think Valorant does a very good job of that because when you look at their characters, in the game, it's not just guys. They have a mix of
Yeah.
everything that's going on, and you could be the female, you could be the male. But I have personally noticed that it seems like there's a bigger female presence in Valorant
Yeah.
itself, with players and the player base in general. Now, kind of a side question here for you on the same token. What do you want to tell all the little girls or little women, younger women, if you will, about maybe they're looking at being in esports? Maybe they want to be a pro just like you. Is there
Mhm.
any words of encouragement or any advice that you could give those little girls or young women?
Yeah, so I never had that kind of like person to look up to when I was growing up playing video games. It was kind of hard. I didn't learn about streaming until really late of me playing video games, and I was kind of a little bit outcasted growing up playing video games.
Hmm.
But I think the point that it's getting at now, it is becoming super accepted. I mean, the world is changing literally every single day, and if you want to go pro in esports, I think as a female now is the time to do it because it's just going to keep growing. Like it's not going to stop. And I think it's becoming like exponentially like huge. Like, I mean, the views that we get when we play tournaments is huge, and it's just going to keep growing. It's just going to become almost the same on par, I hope, one day as the rest of the scene. So that's what we look forward to. And I think at this point on, like any woman can get into gaming professionally.
Oh, I 100% agree with you. Right now is the time to get on board. Esports is growing pretty much exponentially every year. Even through the pandemic, all it did was grow. And people are like, well, it'll die off after the pandemic. Well, here we are. It's continuing to
Right.
grow. Colleges are grabbing it. There's more pro athletes in esports. There's more organizations. There's just more options. There's medical doctors, licensed medical professionals being
Right.
trainers now in esports, and which there needs to be. But you're just seeing everything start to flourish, which is so awesome to see and you be a part of.
Yeah.
Valorant is a very strategic game, and that needs great communication, great chemistry. Now, did you play with any of your current teammates prior to joining Immortals? And how has the chemistry so far been out of the gate?
Yeah. So one of my teammates, Jen, she's a friend super dear to my heart. I've been playing with her since about June of last year. But besides that, the rest of the girls I met for the first time when the tryout started. So it was definitely interesting getting used to each other at first because it was kind of like we were thrown into this position where we need to like mesh, like for sure, and make sure that we all get along. But there has not been a single problem. I love all of them, and getting to play with them has been super easy. And we have great communication, and the synergy is improving every single day. So it was definitely interesting at first, but it hasn't been a problem at all getting used to each other.
Now, did you, when you guys first kind of came together, was there anyone that preferred different characters? Because in game, you get to choose your characters, and you
Yeah.
run differently. Obviously, like I'm Brimstone. I will never leave Brim. I'm a Brim guy. But was
Mhm.
there anybody who was like, "Hey, that's my character. Can I use my character?" When you guys first
Yeah.
started?
Yeah. So all of us are pretty much on our roll. Besides Sarah, Sarah's an insane player, like incredibly good. And she's on this like supportive role, but she's used to like going out and just like killing people and like fragging out. So it was definitely different for her, but she's doing great and she's improved so much as like a supportive player. But everybody else is actually on their role, so it's been really cool.
That's awesome. I love it. You're doing something that many don't do in a region like ours that is patiently waiting to explode, showing the world its talent. What is the message that you want to relay to kids, and in particular girls, like we asked before, looking to get into esports, but more in particular, kind of like how these things work? Like, now that you were part of Immortals, I'm sure you've kind of seen something different as you moved into the pro scene. But if they do have those questions of moving up in esports, what could you possibly relay to not just the young women and young girls, but also to the guys that might be interested too? Because there's going to be a bunch of them looking up to you now as well in the pro
Yeah.
scene.
I think it all comes down to making sure that you're getting your name out there in any way that you can. So if it's playing ranked and climbing the ranks, you know, eventually you'll come across other pro players, you'll get your name seen, interacting with people on social media, or at live streaming. Live streaming is huge because people can actually see like your gameplay like in real time.
Right.
So just making sure that you're doing all the networking that you can, I think, is like the biggest thing. And then just making sure that you're playing in tournaments and trying out like I did. Any chance that you get to do a tryout, take it.
Take your shot. That's right.
Yeah.
Whenever you got the opportunity, take your shot. You're the in-game leader. We talked about this just a little bit ago, and with it, we talked about a little bit of pressure. But your role definitely comes with the pressure because you have 4 other people to watch out for. Strategic in your head, like kind of what everything that's going on, placement, who has supers, or everything that's going on. How do you train or practice for that IGL or that in-game leader moments of pressure, if you will?
Yeah. So yeah, I would say I just became the IGL like a month ago, and it definitely wasn't something that I was super used to. And actually, I think one of my faults before was that my communication was a little low when I was playing.
Right.
So now becoming the IGL, I had to really work on making sure that I was communicating at all times, and most of that just comes when we practice. We practice 3 to 10 every day, so 7 hours, and then go into tournaments. So I get to really see if what I'm doing is working, because in scrims, you know, the other team is trying out things as well. But when it comes to tournaments, that's the real deal. And I can really see if the calls that I'm making or the reads that I have are actually coming through. And I'd say that it's working so far. I definitely have some work to keep going on, but the practice is where I see the most improvement so far. I mean, I
That's
had
good.
a full month to do it. So
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, that's what you want to see. You want to see yourself growing as a player, but as a leader as well, especially in practice, because, I mean, obviously you practice to get better. So you'll see as you go through the tournaments and the roles that you'll definitely be making some ground and build off that. It definitely sounds like you guys are on the right track. It definitely sounds like you guys are in good hands. And it definitely sounds like you guys have a phenomenal team, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Love to see it. Now, I just have to throw this question out there because, you know, as when I did it, I was pinching myself pretty much every day. But how often in the last few months have you pinched yourself saying, "Whoa, is this real? I'm a pro Valorant player right now." Like, how many times does it where you just stop and be like, "Wait, is this real life?"
Yeah, it happens every day. I swear. The main thing is, my boyfriend, like, he was super into like pro sports, like pro esports, and when I was telling him that I was trying out, and like when I eventually got it, he was so excited for me. And I don't think I don't think it hit me yet. And then he was just like hyping me up, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is happening. Like, I went from working like a 9 to 5 job to now playing video games for a living. Like, it's really cool. And when I'm playing tournaments, I go outside my room and I see my parents watching me like on the TV. It's like the cutest thing ever. And I don't know, it's like in those moments that I'm like, it's hard to compare yourself to like sports, but that's what I want to compare it to.
Oh, yeah.
Like actual sports. And it's not at that level yet, but I feel like it's going to be, and it's just very, very exciting. So yeah, I feel like I come to the realization like every single day, like even here talking to you, I'm like, I wouldn't have done this like a couple of months ago. I don't know.
I mean, to be honest with you, if I found you in game, we would definitely be playing games. But yeah, the thing is, you know, getting to talk to, you know, Kay from Immortals, the in-game leader of the all-female Valorant team, yeah, that wouldn't have happened a few months ago, or you might not have thought about it, you know, but here we are in just a few short months. which is amazing to see. And to have you on my show is awesome. So thank you for being here. I do really, truly appreciate it.
Of course, follow Immortals on Twitter, and there you will find our announcement video where you can follow the rest of the team. We have a lot of tournaments coming up, and we actually just ended one this weekend where we did very, very well. So we're going to keep improving to make sure that we place on the upcoming tournaments. They're going to be super exciting, and we always announce and keep up to date too on those social medias to make sure people are in the loop. So, yeah.
Which, by the way, that announcement video was fire. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I was like, whoever's like, hey, let's do this in Chicago. I was like, ooh, lit. I liked it. All right, so here we have a fun little game here to kind of wrap everything up. And it's just 10. I had this with Jordan, the CEO of Immortals, and I said rapid fire on accident because I imagined in my head when I started this show, it'd be 10 questions, rapid fire, see if you can complete it in a minute. And he's like, well, let's try it. And he didn't even get past the first question before saying it wouldn't work. And the problem is everybody has to basically explain their answer or say why they have these options, so it doesn't work. So these are just 10 random questions, a lot of fun, nothing that's going to end our relationship, our friendship, I promise you. We will remain friends. We'll have a good relationship in the future. But first question, favorite platform or console?
Platform or console, it was GameCube.
Ooh, I don't know if I've had that one yet. I think out of all the guests I've had, I had a GameCube, but it wasn't my favorite. What was your favorite game on GameCube?
Star Fox, for sure.
Yeah, Star Fox is clutch. I mean, he's just a good guy. Favorite game of all time?
BioShock.
Ooh,
yeah.
You're surprising me off the bat with these. Like all of these ones I haven't got before. BioShock, that's a great game.
I was gonna say I didn't get into competitive games until like last year, so all of those games, those were my favorite, my guilty pleasures.
They were so good. Go-to snack during a session, whether it's practice or gaming. If you snack at all, I know I don't eat during a session. I don't
snack too often, but like when I do, it's probably just like licorice or something. I just have it next to my desk and I can grab one.
Yeah, and it's not gonna get your fingers all greasy, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Favorite TV show / movie of all time?
That's a good question. I'm kind of a weeb, so I'd say my favorite show, which I just finished last year, was Naruto. That is my favorite.
Yep. I mean, that's kind of a go-to for any gamer. I mean,
literally.
Literally. So yeah, that's a good answer. Actually, it's probably the first time I've had that. It's not the first time I've had anime, but that's the first time I've had that. Chocolate chip or oatmeal raisin?
Chocolate chip.
Oh, you're doing me dirty.
I'm sorry.
Like I swear.
Last time I've had oatmeal raisin actually, so I can't really compare.
It might be a generational thing. See, I'm 36, and when I was a kid, my neighbor would always make oatmeal raisin cookies. So like I have this thing with oatmeal raisin cookies. I don't know why.
Like nostalgia.
Yeah, exactly. And don't get me wrong, I like chocolate chip, but oatmeal raisin, woo, takes me to a different time. Favorite pro team in traditional sports?
Traditional sports. Okay, so I played soccer growing up, so Manchester United was my favorite that I was watching when I was growing up.
Nice.
So,
and you probably, you were probably right in the middle when the U.S. had a really good soccer team too. With Landon
grew up
and
watching the women's team too.
Okay,
so much. So yeah, but
both of them were really good at the same time. Yeah.
Yep.
Good. Another answer I have not had, a soccer team. Cat or dog?
Dog.
All right, there you go. First car.
My first car?
Yep.
I had a 2006 Ford Escape.
Nice.
Yep.
That was my sister's or my youngest sister's first car. It seemed like every or like every 10 years there's a car or go-to car that everybody gets. When I was a kid, it was like a Jeep Cherokee.
That one was huge when I was growing up.
Especially up here in northern Michigan. And then it went to like a Grand Prix, Grand Am, and then it kind of went to that Ford Escape. Everyone could afford those smaller SUVs. All right, this one's out of left field. This one's kind of wild. So if you have to think about it a little bit, don't worry. Would you rather be attacked by one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
Horse-sized duck. That is terrifying to think about. That many little horses running at me. No, I can't. A horse-sized duck.
So you're going with a horse-sized duck. All right. And
Yeah.
we'll figure out how to train him later.
All right.
All right. Last question. I appreciate again, Kay, for your time today. Anywhere in the world, where are you going?
This has been on my radar for the past couple of years, but I'd say Korea or Japan right now. Those are
Any particular reason why?
I've been to Europe before, so that was my at the top of my list. But now, like, just going to like some part of Asia, now that I'm kind of like super into anime and all that other kind of like the culture a little bit, I want to go see it really bad.
Nice. I mean, that's right. To be honest with you, I'd love to go over there. I want to see Japan. I want to see Korea. I want to see areas like basically Asia. I've never been over to Asia. I've been to Hawaii. I've actually only been to Canada outside the country. So I got some traveling to do. So,
Yeah.
you know, as a kid growing up in northern Michigan and now being, in the house gamer, I don't travel very much. But when we do, hopefully we can get some places. So thank you, Kay, again for your time. I really do truly appreciate it. Good luck this year with everything that's going on for you. Congratulations again on being the IGL in Valorant, the Pro-Valorant all-female team led by you in game for Immortals. So thank you again for your time. Do truly appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on your show.
No problem.